What's good, guys? It's Charlie ND here, and I'm back with another story time. You guys seem to really like the last one, so I'm gonna tell you another one today. And this one also takes place at school. In fact, a lot of the more interesting ones I have take place at school. So this story time's gonna be comprised of a bunch of mini stories that all center around the PE change room. Now, in grade 9 and grade 10, we had to change in a room that wasn't really meant to be a traditional change room in the sense that there weren't showers or anything. It was more meant to be like a backstage storage room for the theater and the stage and all that. So, yeah, it was an overflow change room. Now, the first story I'm going to tell you has to do with vaping. Now, of course, change rooms, they're private, so they're an invitation for people to vape, which is stupid because a teacher could literally walk in at any time. You're basically asking to get caught. But anyways, one day in grade 10, my friend whipped out his vape in the change room and started going at it. He offered me beforehand, but I politely declined because I wasn't trying to get caught. And anyways, I was getting changed. Everyone was getting changed. We were all doing our thing. And for context, there were about like 40 people in this change room because it was two classes changing at the same time. So, for some reason, I feel compelled to look behind me for no apparent reason, and I see teacher's footsteps. Like, I could see his shoes, one of the PE teachers, as he was leaving the room, which means he was in the room with us, and I somehow didn't even notice. And I look back at my friend who was vaping, and he just had the biggest look of like a deer in headlights because he had just came so close to getting caught. And if you get caught vaping at school, that's like a suspension. So he just dodged a serious bullet. Now I imagine the only reason why the teacher didn't notice that he was vaping was because the type of vape he was using was a drop. And drops sort of look like garage door clickers, so I guess he just didn't really think much of it when he saw it. So yeah, that's it for that first story where my friend nearly got caught vaping in the change room. Now, the second story I don't really have a good introduction for because it's sorta hard to explain. But anyways, I mentioned that my change room is not a normal change room. On the ceiling, you'll find the same type of ceiling that you'd expect to find in an office. One day, before school, one of my friends, we'll just call him Brandon, he discovered that one of the tiles that were supposed to be in the ceiling had fallen out. So do you know what he does? He grabs a bunch of benches, stacks them up, and climbs up into the roof of the change room. So now he's just chilling in the ceiling above the change room. And while he's up there, guess what happens? Some teachers walk in. And not just any teachers, the vice principals. So now at this point, my friend is literally above the vice principals' heads, and they have no idea that he's up there, and he's trying to stay as quiet as possible. And they're talking about this hole in the ceiling and how they're gonna have to find new panels to replace it. And they talk for a few minutes and then they leave. So then my friend, relieved that he's still alive and not in trouble, he climbs back down and then he makes a run for it, and he never got caught. Yeah, Brandon isn't really known for his great decision-making skills. So yeah, last story I'm gonna tell in this video is definitely the most chaotic one. The two PE classes were both done and they were getting changed. And you'd think that since we had all just done PE, we would have no energy left, but nope. Everyone was extremely hyper. And you know, when you got a room of like 40 guys and like no girls around to like make us behave or whatever, our primal instincts just take over. And it was just pure mayhem in this room. There were two guys whipping each other with their belts. There were people throwing deodorant at each other. There were people punching holes through like a soft spot in the wall. There were people vaping as usual. There was a folding table in the change room that people were jumping on. And then there were people like me who were just trying to get changed in peace. So yeah, it is utter bedlam in this change room. And right as I feel as if it's gonna reach a boiling point, guess who walks in? None other than the principal of the school. And he walks in and he's like, "Hey!" And at this point, the entire room just goes silent. It goes from extremely loud to you could hear a pin drop in like 2 seconds. And I'm just over here in the corner freaking the hell out because I'm pretty sure we're all about to get our asses kicked. Like we're about to get yelled at or something. So I'm just bracing for the worst here, and then the principal says, "Hey, does this pair of shoes belong to anyone?" Yeah, that's right. The principal came into our change room just to ask us if someone had lost a pair of shoes. And he didn't even mention all the chaos that was going on as he walked in. And we all just said no because the pair of shoes didn't belong to any of us. Then the principal left, and we just sort of stood there in silence for a few seconds. And then we all got done changing and we went on with our day. So, yeah, that's the end of that story. And it's also the end of the video, so I guess moral of the story is don't misbehave in the change room. I know it's a very inviting place to misbehave, you feel like you're invincible and no one can see you, but people always end up walking in at the worst possible time. And yeah, I'm really glad I don't have to deal with high school PE anymore. Anyways, yeah, that's gonna be the end of this story time. Leave a like and a comment if you want me to do more stories or whatever suggestions you have for videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.